Tomorrow, Shabbos, is Shiva tammuz. However, obviously Shabbos you don't fast. So the fast of Shiva tammuz is a Nidcha to Sunday. The Navi in Zechariah tells us there are 4 Tanesim: Tzoyim Haravi, which is Shiva tammuz; Tzoyim HaChamishi, which is Tisha B'Av; Tzoyim HaShvi, which is Tzoyim Gedalia; and Tzoyim HaAsiri, which is Asar B'Tevis. These 4 Tanesim, which are because of Churban, says the pasuk Yu l'sasan l'simcha, it's going to become a Yom Tov. But these 4 Tanesim are days, the days of these Tainus. These days are days of Churban. Asar B'Tevis was when they surrounded Shiva tammuz. The Mishnah says 5 different things. Also Churban, they broke through the wall. Tisha B'Av, Tzem Gedalia. Let's try and understand, why is it, because it's a day that Tzoros happened, why were Chachamim, Chazal, the Nevi'im, Koveya, a day that we should fast? Why is it that we fast in these days?
Party instead.
What?
Have a party instead. Have a party instead.
Not a party, but what do we accomplish with a tainus? What do we accomplish with fasting? The Rambam in Hilchas Tainus, Perek Hey, Halacha Aleph, and I'll share with you, read the Lashon Rambam. Yesham Yomim Shekol Yisrael Mis'anim Behem Ipnei Atzaros. There are days that Klal Yisrael fast because of the Tzaros, She'iru Behen. Really, the Rambam could have stopped here. We fast because of the Tzaros that happened. That's why we fast. We fast because it's a day of Tzaros. But the Rambam continues, and the Rambam says the days that we fast, the days of Tzaros, why do we fast? Says the Rambam, Kedei la'oirer halavavos uleftoyach darkei hatshuva. The Rambam says the reason why we fast is not because it's a sad day, it's a day of Peronius, it's a day of Churban, but rather we fast to do tshuva. That's the purpose of fasting. The day of Tainus of Shiva tammuz this Sunday is not, we're not fasting because of the tzara. We're fasting, what do we want to accomplish with the Tainus? We want to accomplish to do tshuva. How do we remember, how do we come to do tshuva? Because we remember we're fasting because of what happened back then, and Ma'aseinu Arom, that will go to Churban, and a person will remember, just like back then people did bad things and therefore there was Churban. Today also people, if you do something bad, there'll be Churban. If not, you have to do tshuva. So the reason why we fast is because of tshuva, not because it's a sad day. Of course, what happened is what's going to be ma'orah to tshuva, but the reason of fasting is for tshuva. When a person remembers what happened in these tanesim, that there was churban, a person's going to do tshuva, nashav lahetiv, he'll do tshuva. Firstly, the Chassam Sofer in 2 places is bothered on this Rambam. In 2 tshuvas, in our Hachaim Yur Daled, and also in Siman Reish Ches. The Mishnah says in Megillah Daf Hey Amud Aleph, these many things ma'achron v'loy makdimin. We push off. If it falls out on Shabbos, we push it off and we don't push it back. One of them, says the Mishnah, is Tisha B'Av. A year like this year, if Tisha B'Av falls out on Shabbos, we push it off. We don't push it back, we push it off. And Rashi says it's not only Tisha B'Av, the other Tanesim as well. Asar B'Tevis, Shiva tammuz, like Shabbos, we push it after Shabbos, we don't pull it back. And the reason is because it's a Zman of Peronius, and Ma'achron Paranusa V'loy Makdima. We push off the Zman Peronius. We push it off to after Shabbos.
So, we bring it up, right?
What did you say? Very good, Morty, very good. Tainus Esther, we bring it up because Tainus Esther, like the Rishonim explain, is not a Zman Peronius, it's a Zman Tefillah. So we don't Tainus Esther when it, let's say, would fall out. If Purim's on a Sunday, Tainus Esther will be Thursday. We don't push it to after Purim, rather we make it early and we pull it back. So the Chassam Sofer is bothered. He says, he doesn't ask a tzarech in Gadol, but he's bothered, Lafid Rambam, that the reason why we fast on the tainus is B'nei Tshuva. So if the reason why we fast is B'nei Tshuva, why would we not pull back the tainus? This tainus of Shavasa B'tamas, we should pull it back to Thursday. Zriza Makdim L'mitzvos for Tshuva. So that's what the Chassam Sofer is bothered on the Rambam that says that it's Tshuva. Why don't we pull the Tainus earlier before Shabbos?
For 3 weeks, it's long enough. You don't need to add on 2 more days.
We'll actually get to that soon, Yitzi, with when we push the Tainus, when the 3 weeks start. That's something separate which may not even be dependent. We spoke about it last year. Even if it starts Sunday, does it start by night? The Tshuvas Ramosha, that was last year's year. But we're going to get back to the 3 weeks. We'll get to it later. Extends.
2 more days.
Whenever it starts, it ends by Tisha B'Av. We push it back,
Oh, very good. Menachem is saying good, very good. That if we pull it back, push it back earlier, Tisha B'Av will be earlier also.
Tisha B'Av is a few days
earlier as well. But it could be even if you move the tainus back, if the tainus is with Pnei Tshuva, but it could be the 3 weeks will still start after Shabbos. I wonder what's going to be with Tisha B'Av. Tisha B'Av, the fast we pull back, but when does the 3 weeks end? With the end of Tisha B'Av? Yeshladin. 3 weeks is pranis. Yeah, we're going to get. Let's focus on all Tanesim, and then we'll get back to 3 weeks. Let's first see. It's we're going to be
because Pesach is linked to Tisha B'Av, and if you push Tisha B'Av back, then you're gonna the whole thing. Is
that I don't know. That cheshbon we have an egg by the seder. Yeah. The Chassam Sofer says. Oh, I'm sorry.
Rambam is saying that the Tshuva is a tattoo in and of itself. That's the tainus is a tattoo in and of itself. What is a good halacha to do in the tainus is you should do Tshuva. But that's some tattoo to fast in and of itself. That's like it's out, whatever it is.
So we'll soon see. We'll soon see. Eli wants to say, even though the Rambam says we want to gain tshuva, but could be really we're fasting mipnei atzaros. But about the end game, the tachlis is tshuva. We'll soon see that the Chassam Sofer himself explains that can't be. And Machzas HaShekel, others, the Shlo. So the Rambam says the reason why we fast is to be ma'or a person to tshuva. The Chassam Sofer says, what's the makoyer to the Rambam? How does the Rambam know that the reason is for tshuva? It's very nice that he should be tshuva, but the pashtus is that what happened was he was tsaris, so maybe the fast is a fast, but pnei tsaris that happened. So the Chassam Sofer says, because how the Rambam understood, how did the Nevi'im know to be machadish a fast day? The Nevi'im, Chazal, the Chachamim are not machadish any new mitzvahs. Muktzah is a hazara for Shabbos. Anything they did was attached to something. Hazaris, takonis, it's all to help out, to enhance, to be mazaklal, to help out to the mitzvahs HaTorah. So where would they be moisef, a new thing of being a fasting, a tainus? They added Chanukah and Purim. Chanukah and Purim is a Yom Tov D'Rabbanan. But says the Chassam Sofer, this Chassam Sofer we mentioned here in the Shurim a few times, and the Chassam Sofer bases on the Gemara, that the Gemara says, why do we say Hallel on Purim, which Hallel means the Megillah, and the Gemara says Kal v'chomer from Pesach. Pesach we yotza ma'avdas l'cheiros, and we say Hallel. Kolshkin when we yotza ma'misa l'chayim. Purim we were going to get killed. We for sure say Hallel. That's what the Gemara says. Kal v'chomer. Says the Chassam Sofer, Kal v'chomer is deiraisa. And therefore, it's midoiraisa to celebrate Purim, Chanukah, and Purim. For whatever you do, whatever type of zecher, but it's midoiraisa. So Amela, when the Chachamim came and they said to be noyeg the Yom Tov, Chanukah, and Purim, they didn't make a brand new Yom Tov. It's all based on a deiraisa. But over here, the tainus, Dr. Chassam Sofer, where does a tainus come from? Lo imatzinu, such a thing that you should fast, mepnei atzoros she'iru. The Meira al Karchach says the Chassam Sofer explains that the Rambam understood, where do we find the tainus midiraisa? That's Yom Kippur. And Yom Kippur, why do we fast? For tshuva. So al Karchach, this tainus is also for tshuva. The Machzah Shekel and Hilchas Tainus brings the Shlah, that the Shlah says that it can't be, the Lashon HaShulchan Aruch, Chayav l'sanas b'Tisha B'Av Yudzayin b'Tammuz all the Taneisim mipnei dvarim haroim she'iru behem. The Lashon HaShulchan Aruch is we fast because of what happened. But the Machzah Shekel says, he brings the Shlah, it can't be that we fast because we're sad of what happened. He says, first of all, you're supposed to be makabel yisurim ba'ahava. That's first of all. Secondly, you don't find that that's the right thing for a person. It's not healthy. The Lashon, he says, it's not healthy to be sad on something that happened. You don't get anywhere. The Hachaim, everybody understands that you don't gain anything. So there's no gain of just fasting now, Shiva Tammuz, because of what happened years ago that they broke through the wall. V'meila al karchach, the tainus, says the Rambam, he brings the Rambam, most of the tainus is a tainus of pnei to do tshuva. The Aruch HaShulchan, the Chassam Sofer actually says that's why we say slichas on a tainus. The slichas is because since the tainus is a day of tshuva, so maybe we say slichas. The Aruch HaShulchan explains why do we say the psukim loud v'salachta yud gimel midas, because it's a day of tshuva, so we'll be b'spal, we'll say it loud, a tefillah for tshuva. And the same thing is also, why do we say the haftarah Dirshu Hashem b'Monsey, the haftarah of the tainus? Maybe we should say haftarah of something of the churban. And v'oid, why is the haftarah only a haftarah by mincha, not by shachris? Now the Gemara says that the zman for tshuva on a tainus is samach l'chashecha b'zman ha-mincha. So therefore, the tainus of Dirshu Hashem b'Monsey, Krubi Esakar, that's what we lay in Asar Simei Tshuva, is a kriya for tshuva. And we also say the psukim loud, shuv mecharei napecha, do tshuva. We say it loud because this Taneisim, like the Rambam says, is a day of tshuva.
So if you don't do tshuva,
if it's ma'akev, if a person doesn't do tshuva, I think how they bring it, a person misses the boat. The whole tachlis is. Others will bring the Ram, the Chassam Sofer says if you fast you fast, but you don't do any tshuva, so you miss the whole point of the tshuva.
I'm saying it's not only a tachlis, it's a chiyuv.
Maybe it's even more.
The Chacham were kaveh to fast, so you have to you do what the Chacham said. The reason why you should fast is shema'oyer to tshuva. If a person doesn't do tshuva, he taka missed the boat because the Chacham said to fast to do tshuva. The Chassam Sofer says le'elu that the matayil and they go on trips on a fast just to kill the time, not to be focused on the fast. You miss the whole point. It's not just a fast. It's bedoima, like they say. The true poskim speak. Could you take a pill, Yom Kippur, go to sleep before and wake up after Yom Kippur? So you're right. You accomplished that you fast, but you missed the whole point. The fasting is that a person should do tshuva.
And as much as an Yom Kippur is a chiv, it's not just the chiv in and of itself.
Avada Rabbeinu Yoina, it's a chiv nederaisa, but here the Chachamim did it that a person should do tshuva. So if you don't do tshuva, you missed the.
So then it should be like a chiv and a chiv. If it goes like, if it's so vague, that's what he's saying.
No. Saying, what do you call it? When the Beis is not rebuilt in the year that you're around, it's as if it was charav again, right? So he's saying, I don't remember who you quoted there, that when you cry over past history, the truth is that Tisha B'Av comes this year and it's still Tisha B'Av, and it actually is still happening. It's not an old story, it's a new story, and that's maybe why the whole thing about doing tshuva, you're actually davening this year that it should come back, not commemorating something that happened.
You bring up a point which you mentioned, Asar b'Tevis is Doicha Shabbos. And the reason why it's Doicha Shabbos is also a Chassam Sofer, is because since it's at Schalta the Pranis, it started over there. And the Chassam Sofer says every year that it's not rebuilt is like a Churban. So that's so Chamer, at the beginning we fast even on Shabbos. So yes, he's saying Tisha B'Av, the fast is not just to do tshuva in general, but Ke'ilu Nechrav, so we're doing tshuva, it shouldn't become Charav again. But still, I think that it's a zman of Pranius? Yeah.
It's not a mitzvah stayot. It could be an underlining factor behind what you're supposed to do. But not that they machayiv to do tshuva. It's not a chiv to do tshuva.
But what were they machayiv you to fast?
Yeah.
But not because of the sad things. They machayiv you to fast. That's it. What do they want to accomplish? Tshuva, but they
It's not a mitzvah stayot to do tshuva.
But the mitzvah sayim is what? It's to fast. But it's nothing to do with pronius. It's as man pronius tam. They said fast. Chacham came and said fast on these 4 days. Fast. Chazal. Fast on these 4 days. It's not because it's a pronius. What do you accomplish by being sad and what happened and being and fasting for that? They said fast. Avada, the fast is to accomplish, to do tshuva.
Two questions. Number one, is there a difference between the tshuva that's done on Shavuos or tammuz and Tisha B'av than that's done on Yom Kippur?
We'll leave that on the side for now. Good.
Third question. Second question is, Yom Kippur is a yontif, it's a day of simcha, it's a day of tshuva also. How do we know that the 4 Tanaisim now are not going to be fast days like Yom Kippur when the Beis has rebuilt? Because you can still have a yontif out of it, but it's still a fast day like Yom Kippur is. How do we know it's going to turn into a day of like feasting and like Purim? Like, how do we know that?
I don't know. The pasuk says Yil Sasan al Simcha, but he's saying could be still going to fast.
The different target of that. It's not from Peronius anymore.
Kippur is Simcha in the background. We know why you have it, but it's not really Sasan Simcha. Sasan Simcha is rejoicing.
He's more of a Ema Yom Adin.
But it's still a young one. It's one of the greatest on the calendar.
I know, but there's no Sasan Simcha. We don't
I hear. So what do we have so far? We have that the Rambam says that the reason for Tanaisim is a Pnei Tshuva, to do Tshuva. The Ritva learns differently. The Ritva, Megillah Daf Hey, the Ritva says that you ma'acher the Tanaisim because it's pronius, and the Ritva explains, as opposed to Tainus Esther, which the reason why we fast, like you mentioned earlier, Morty, the reason why we fast is for Tshuva. So therefore we pull back Tainus Esther. But he spells out clearly all other Tanaisim are Pnei Pronius. There's even a Raya brought to this. The Mishnah Brura and Siman Tov Kof Nun says that you should not give kids on a day of a Tainus, even though they're not fasting, you should give them only bread and water, not anything else, because they should be part of Pnei Avelis. If the reason is just for Tshuva, so either they could fast and it'll be more over them for Tshuva, or not fasting. It seems like there is something of an Avelis over there.
Both. Like we were learning tennis with rain. Like after it doesn't rain for a while, so now it's a bad time. So now you fast for tshuva. Why can't it be? If you're going back to that it's as if it's destroyed every single year. So if Tisha B'av comes this year, so it is Peronius that it hasn't been rebuilt, and now you have to fast. So it's tefillah. Why can't it be both?
It could be that it could technically be both, but the way out the Machzah Shakel brings the Shlah, that there is no purpose of fasting and being sad of what happened. What happened, happened. We're not fixing it.
It's not what happened. It's today. Today, the Beis is not back, which means that it's just destroyed again. So you're not fasting that it happened 2,000 years ago.
I hear you saying the Pronius. It is actually as Mom Pronius, the 3 weeks. So, but what's about Asar B'Tevis? It's the same thing. Asar B'Tevis, Niviyam. I hear. You're saying it's not both. That's what you're saying the whole time? I hear, very good. It's both. What do you mean? What, very good. You're saying it's both, which means it's Zman Pronius. In the 3 weeks we can for sure understand it. We're going to get to it right away that it's Taka Zman Pronius. So you're saying the Zman Pronius is not because what happened. It's Ki'ilu Nechrav now, and therefore it's a Chorban now.
It's not about legacy now. I'm saying what you're supposed to do now that you have Zman Pronius. What do you do? Something about it. Do something about it. Let's try to fix it. But the way
it's not the pronius means because it's happening now, not the pronius of then. The pronius of now, which means we want to do tshuva. We want to prevent another churban. So it's really pronius again doesn't mean of the churban that happened now. When we fast now Tisha B'av, it's because of the destruction that's happening now, or because we want to prevent the destruction that happened. The churban that happened, we fast Tisha B'av because the churban happened Erev Tisha B'av. We're not fasting because of yesterday's churban. What happened, happened. We're not changing it. But we could do tshuva for the future. So you're saying when you fast on Asar B'Tevis, when you fast on Tisha B'av, that tightness is to prevent the churban of today. We're going to fast Sunday for Shavasa B'Tammuz. We're fasting Shavasa B'Tammuz Sunday to prevent again from breaking through the Chaima. Very good. One final point, Benegeya, a tainus being a zman of tshuva. So the Yad HaMelech, which is the anicle of the Noid Yehuda, explains why is it that it comes out on the three aliyahs of a tainus, Kohen, Levi, Yisrael. By Kohen and by Yisrael, there are psukim that we say loud. By Levi, it's quiet. I thought, Pasha, because the three psukim are that's where the psukim are. Why is it by Levi that there is no psukim that we say loud, not Shuv Mecharein Apecha? The other two psukim, so he explains, because they weren't chayta by the Egel. It's the Rambam. The Rambam says that Shevet Levi, Lashon HaRambam, I don't have it right here in front of me. The Rambam says, it's in Hilchas Avodah Zarah, Perek Aleph, Halacha Gimel. The Rambam says that Levi was not chayta in Avodah Zarah. It doesn't only say the Egel. Levi was not chayta, but he says only the Levian. Kohanim says Aaron HaKohen, even though he was a oinus, he meant to push off Klal Yisrael, but at some level there was an Indian of Avodah Zarah. So Mamela, the Kohanim and the Yisraelim taka need the tshuva of a tainus. However, the Levi doesn't need the tshuva, and therefore the Levi we don't say it loud. Like we mentioned before, saying it loud as a tefillah for the tshuva, the Leviim are exempt.
Maybe that's why it's one pasuk Kohen and two in Yisrael, because
it's less by Kohanim, oinus. Here.
Why is it those psukim?
Very good. Yeshua is saying that the Kohen only has one pasuk and the Yisraelim two psukim. Yeah.
Why is it those psukim? I understand you don't need those, but why are the other two psukim?
It's also Shuv Mecharein Apecha. What could be better? Shuv Mecharein Apecha. Do tshuva.
There are a lot of psukim in the Torah which could be said out loud. Why is it specifically those?
No, from the Kriya of a tainus. Which other psukim? We'll look afterwards. But those psukim are for sure psukim as much as possible to say to do tshuva. Atkan is lagabe all tanesim, all the four tanesim, which we were saying that it's a zman of tshuva, and like we hear the Ilm saying very clearly that it's a tshuva also to prevent the current pranias. Lamaisa, we're also going into Shavasa Batamas, which starts now the Bein Amtzarim, the 3 weeks, which the 3 weeks, besides it as the din tainus of Shavasa Batamas, the 3 weeks begin Shavasa Batamas, which technically Shavasa Batamas, not de facto Shavasa Batamas, the day of Shavasa Batamas is Shabbos. So when do the 3 weeks start? We spoke about it last year by Arichas, but I want to just get to 1 or 2 points over here. When does the fast start? When does the Bein Amtzarim start? It's not really the gay of meyuzek. There's no meyuzek, chasanas.
What can you do on Shabbos that you can't?
What could you do? Where is it relevant to discuss B'chlal if Shavasa B'tamas starts on there's 3 weeks if it's on Shabbos. Tisha B'av, we also spoke about, maybe we'll speak about it again. Tisha B'av is negay if these dinim for Tisha B'av on Shabbos. But what is a negay of Shavasa B'tamas? The 3 weeks. What is a negay if it starts Shabbos? So the Shulchan Aruch says, one of the dinim of the 3 weeks, says the Shulchan Aruch, is it's better to refrain from saying Shechiyanu. One should not say Shechiyanu in the 3 weeks. And the reason for that is, you say Shechiyanu v'kimanu v'giyanu lazman hazeh. V'giyanu lazman hazeh, it's a zman of pronius. The Goyen actually says he doesn't see a makar for that. Some want to say that Shabbos, you could make a Shechiyanu. So then really, it wouldn't make a difference. Others say even Shabbos not to make a Shechiyanu. So therefore, technically, it would be negay this Shabbos, the 3 weeks would start already this Shabbos by not making a Shechiyanu. However, says the Magen Avraham, that this Shabbos, you could still make a Shechiyanu. As he explains, the 3 weeks don't start till Sunday, which means, how he explains, Shechiyanu, you don't say because of the Zman Pronius. And the Zman Pronius of the 3 weeks only starts Sunday, and therefore you could say Shechiyanu. The Archolkim, the Chidah, the Pashtus is Chaylik. I'm saying the Pashtus because in one place it sounds like the Chidah says that you could say, in another place Asar. The Yavit says not to say Shechiyanu even on this Shabbos because the Zman Pronius started. But the Magen Avraham says that the Zman Peronius gets pushed off as well. So the tainus of Shavasa B'Tamas is Sunday. The 3 weeks, the Zman Peronius also gets pushed off to Sunday. However, there's something else also gets pushed off, and that's the Avelis. We know when Noyeg in the 3 weeks, Dine Avelis. Shechiyanu has nothing to do with Avelis. Shechiyanu is a Zman Peronius. An Oval, Rahman al-San, could make a Shechiyanu. It's nothing to do with Avelis, it's to do with Peronius. And a Zman Peronius, a day of Peronius, you don't say Shechiyanu. However, Avelis is, we don't listen to music, Dine Avelis. Avelis is the 3 weeks we have Avelis. So what's about the Avelis? When does the Avelis start? Does the Avelis start already Shabbos, or that only starts Sunday? The Eliyah Rabbah asks a question. The Eliyah Rabbah asks, we know we have 3 Haftarahs which are laying before Tisha B'Av, all about the Churban, and it's called the 3 Haftarahs de Pranusa. So the Eliyah Rabbah asks, a year like this year, why don't we have a 4th one? If you make a cheshbon, these 4 Shabbosim from tomorrow till Shabbos of Tisha B'Av are 4 Shabbosim. So why don't we have an additional Haftarah for this Shabbos? That's the Eliyah Rabbah's question. Pashtus, you would answer, it's Haftarahs de Pranusa. It's not Peronius, like we saw the Magen Avraham. The Magen Avraham says that the Peronius first starts Sunday. But the Eliyah Rabbah says the reason why we have these 3 Haftarahs is for Avelis. And Avelis also gets pushed off to Sunday. So say the fast of Shavasa B'Tamas that this Shabbos gets pushed off to Sunday. Say the Peronius gets pushed off to Sunday. And now we see also the Avelis also gets pushed off starts the 3 weeks of Avelis only start Sunday. Have a good Shabbos, and hopefully it should be like the Pasuk says, should be Nepach, the tainus of Shavasa B'Tamas, l'sasan l'simcha.